We are Georgia and David. In March of 2022, we quit our jobs to travel the world full-time. We are currently exploring Mexico, and our goal is to visit 100 Pueblos Mágicos.
Join us as we visit Pueblo Mágico number 48, Tlaquepaque, and number 49, Tapalpa.
Today we've driven a little bit over an hour from Tequila to the Pueblo Mágico of Tlaquepaque.
If you watched our last video, you know that our furry little travel companion passed away about a week and a half ago. So this is our first Pueblo Mágico without her. We are going to try to show you all the best things to do and enjoy it ourselves, but you know, our energy just might not be all the way there yet.
So Tlaquepaque has a couple of really pretty churches right next to each other.
Unfortunately, you may be able to hear today is a Sunday, so they are still doing Mass. We will try to swing by later, but as of right now, we were just able to peek our heads in. We didn't want to record or take any photos with people, you know, actually having service.
We just finished up our amazing lunch at Casa Luna.
The service was fantastic, and the restaurant is super beautiful. They have these really intricate different chandeliers. The menu was pretty short, but it did have a lot of different options. When you first get there, they give you some fresh tortilla chips, and then they give you 3 different hot salsas and 3 different salsas without any chili in them. The restaurant also has menus in English, so they are very gringo friendly. I got the tuna, which was pastor style and topped with grilled pineapple, as well as avocado and cilantro, and it was really, really delicious.
And I got the picanha, which was 450 grams worth, so a pretty large portion. It was a little under seasoned, but there was salt on the table, so it worked out really well.
Yeah, the mashed potatoes that came with it were really good too. I definitely tried his. So for cocktails, the drink that I got was made with apple juice and lime and tequila, and it even had a little bit of rosemary. It was quite good, but I think David's drink was the winner.
Yeah, I forget the name of it, but it came with grapefruit, smoked salt, orange juice, and it had a shot of tequila, and it was really very good.
Yeah, that smoked salt was really unique. Very much enjoyed that. We didn't get any dessert because we are hoping to eat again today, but for now we'll go ahead and keep walking. This city is really, really adorable. There are tons of different art stalls, and at least this street is a pedestrian street, so no cars to worry about.
Just came across some statues by Sergio Bustamante.
I have to say that these statues bear a striking resemblance to some of the sculptures that we saw from another artist. She was a female sculptor in San Luis Potosí. There's a whole museum dedicated to her sculptures, and I mean, I think they look really similar. Maybe I'm remembering them wrong, but we'll post some pictures here.
Tlaquepaque, like most Pueblo Mágicos, has their own letters, but we're not going to take a picture in front of it.
It just doesn't feel the same without meat, so we're going to skip this part today. But this main corridor here does have absolutely every little craft item you can imagine or souvenir for sale, both in little shops as well as in, sold by street vendors. And then the street vendors also sell snacks, and then there are bars lining, well, bars and cafes and restaurants lining the walkway as well. And a lot of people are out walking around with a michelada or a cantarito. So I think the thing here to do is to just walk slowly, drink, and buy a few things.
So we just finished up a very quick tour of the Ceramic Museum.
Yeah, the entrance was free to everyone, and it only took us maybe 15 minutes to walk through. It's very small, but it does have some very cool little pieces in it. And one of the exhibits I liked the most was they had a full mariachi band in miniature made out of clay. And that kind of leads me to my next point, is that here in Tlaquepaque, they have what I believe is the biggest, I think, cantina in all of Mexico. And supposedly on the weekends at 3 and I believe 6:30, they do have live mariachi. So I think we're going to start heading that way.
So we walked back down towards the main churches, and we came upon El Parian.
This is, I was correct, considered the world's largest cantina. It's actually made up of 19 different restaurants and bars, and apparently they have shows in the central circle, so we're going to see if we can find a table. Well, we were able to get a table, and we got a great table, actually. If you look, the stage is right there. And the waiter said the show was getting ready to start in about 30 or 40 minutes. And the minimum consumption for this table was actually 2 cazuelas. And as you can see here, it is just a cazuela, and it is filled with orange juice, lime juice, grapefruit juice, and a little bit of sparkling water. And then you get a large shot of tequila of your choice on the side to dump in to make your own cocktail. The other thing to know is that most restaurants in here do not accept credit cards. They are cash only.
So it was pretty cool. They started out with traditional dance with costumes from Oaxaca.
Yeah, then they went on and did some dances with some costumes from Jalisco, and then they wrapped it up with some mariachi. So definitely worth stopping by if you come to Tlaquepaque.
On the way back towards the churches, we checked out the stalls in the main square, which had tons of intricately hand-beaded jewelry for sale. So our last stop of the day was circling back to the churches.
And good news, we were able to enter both of them, and they are totally worth it. So I would recommend, especially if you're here on a Sunday, which seems like the most popular day to come back in the afternoon and check out the churches when they're a little bit quieter. But we had a really fun day in Tlaquepaque overall. It was a little hard at moments, but overall it was really fun. This town has probably more art for sale and more alcoholic beverages available than I think any other Pueblo Mágico we've been to, other than, of course, tequila.
Today we've driven a little over 2 hours to the Pueblo Mágico of Tapalpa.
This Pueblo Mágico is in the mountains. So the last 30 minutes were just absolute switchbacks. But the really nice thing is that today in Tequila, where we are staying, the high is 96 degrees. And right now it is a beautiful 81 degrees here. So it is very nice to have a small respite from the heat. But this town looks really, really cute. I know that there are a lot of eco parks where you can do hiking and horseback riding and zip lines and things like that. We're not going to be visiting those today, but that is something you can do. And there are also a ton of cute little cabins for rent in the surrounding mountains. But it is a little bit past 1 actually right now. So I think we are going to go find something to eat, and then we'll set off to explore.
So just finished up lunch at La Cuachala.
It was absolutely delicious. She serves tacos de guisado, and guisados are just stews. So basically at these type of restaurants, they just have a whole bunch of cazuelas out with a bunch of slow cooked meats and toppings, and then they make your tacos to order. And a lot of times it's kind of like an economical way to eat, and it's not all that tasty, but here she seasoned everything really well. Everything was cooked perfectly, and she makes all of her tortillas by hand, so super delicious and still very economical. We started out with the quesadillas, which we had filled with steak and poblano peppers, and then we got tacos with her barbacoa. And then the little salsas, she had a really delicious guacamole as well as a nice red salsa. So super delicious, highly recommend if you're in the area.
Yep. All in, it was 320 pesos.
Can't beat it.
Now that we were all fueled up, our next attempted stop was the Artesanía market. Unfortunately, this market is only open on weekends. Luckily for us, there are many stalls lining the streets selling the same types of crafts and food items that we likely would have found in the market. We continued on to the municipal market, where we bought some of the most amazingly crunchy peanut butter cookies we have ever had. Our next stop was a templo that is made entirely of brick. We haven't seen anything like this in all of our travels in Mexico. After checking out the old church, which had been converted into a religious museum, our next attempted stop was a famous panaderia. Unfortunately, it too is only open on weekends. After making a wish in the fountain, we decided it was time for a well-earned beverage. Buffalo's has a great view of the town center, as well as an amazing cocktail called the Tapalpense. It is a draft beer with a salt rim and a scoop of lime sherbet, so refreshing and highly recommended. Our last stop of the day, Las Piedrotas.
These are giant rock formations that you can see behind us here, and I think that this is what the Pueblo Mágico is most known for. I think if you come on weekends, it's usually pretty busy. We're here kind of at the end of the day on a Thursday, but you can do a zip line here, and they also offer little rides on horseback. I knew that these rock formations were big, but wow, these are super large and very impressive. The land around them is pretty flat, so I'm really interested to find out how these actually came to be in existence.
Nobody knows exactly how these formations were created, which is why this area is known as the Valley of Enigmas. But one theory is that they were meteorites that fell to the earth thousands of years ago. Another is that they were underground rocks that emerged after flowing water eroded the ground around them. In any case, they seem a bit out of place.
Thanks for watching, and as always, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please leave them down below. If you haven't already, check out this video where we visit Pueblo Mágicos number 46 and number 47, Villa del Carbón, and Tepotzotlan.